Welcome back to My Life, My Purpose. This is a lovely show. So we are concluding the month of February, and I wanted to just do a recap of the shows we've been having. In the beginning of the month, I don't remember the date, sorry, but the first Thursday of this month, we talked about discipline versus motivation. And there I came up with three of my friends, Jeremiah, Joshua, and Shira. We realized that motivation is your goal, and discipline is the mechanism that gets you to your goal. The next show I hosted a brother, also a friend. His name is Paul Sekizivo, where we discussed issues to do with self-discipline. In there, we came up with with 5 principles, a take home for every one of us. Journaling, just to keep up with our self-awareness. We got journaling, we have exercise, we have diet, exercise, journaling. I want you to try to maintain those. Then we've got meditation, have to meditate. Then we got consistency. Those 5 with consistency. So that was our show to do with self-discipline. Then we got to the point of purpose. Now this was my favorite show in the month, whereby my brother Jeremiah hosted Jeremiah, and the topic was to do with purpose. I got to learn something new as we discussed with Ebutu, and we realized that purpose is that point that requires you to, the reason why you're here, what are you going to do? But realize that also purpose comes in very many different ways, whereby we have purpose to do with you first finding the thing that matters the most in life. That was what I first realized, that the first purpose that's most important in life is to know why you are here and for whom you are here. We realize that the first purpose in life, sorry, I've repeated it over and over, is actually to find and build a relationship with God. When you find a relationship with God, because He's your creator, He knows best what you are going to do. He knows best, He knows why He designed you. So when you find your creator and you decide to move with Him, that's your first life purpose. So then He gives you that one thing that you've got to do in your life. And just like that, we have come to the conclusion of our month. Come next March, this coming month of March, we are going to look at very other interesting topics. You're going to look at the carnal eyes. You mean like the eyes of the flesh, seeing using the eyes of the flesh. We're going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about very many other aspects, concepts to do with life and purpose. I can't wait to have you in the next shows to come. Please do subscribe, share, and like. Don't forget to call your friends in, and let's build our life together. This is Kalinzi Lewis, co-hosting with Jeremiah Ocheng. Welcome back to the My Life, My Purpose show. So just as I shared, this is the end of the month, people. The month of love. I hear with the month of love. So shout out to all lovebirds there. I hope the month has been something good for you. If you've been heartbroken, it's okay. Things happen. Yeah, being the month of love, so we're going to just leave you guys with some jazz music as you're waiting for other people to fall in, because this is a very important show and we want all of us to get something. So stick around.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you, Kisache, for tuning in, and Edna Nancha, and everyone who's falling in. Please, let's keep the comments flowing. This is going to be largely interactive. We just want to know, what have you decided for this show, like this month coming on. So welcome back, my people. Here we are on My Life, My Purpose. Striving to be relevant, by the way. That to me is like my personal motto, and I really want like someone to live out there like, well, not striving to be relevant in the sense of human beings, but making your life important to yourself is very, very crucial. But before we go into very into the topic of the, because this is just going to be a recap over the shows we've had, just as you've seen that. We're going to do a mega recap, and I think I'll be inviting someone shortly after. Then we shall just dive into like within deeper context. But before, I want to share with you a lovely story. I just happened to have found it somewhere. So here we go. So once in a lifetime, in a lovely town filled with dreams and possibilities, there were friends. There were two friends. Of course, they are always two friends. It was Sam and Alex. These guys had grown up together, and they had really traversed the villages. They had shared adventures, and they had been laughing so together. I mean, there's always that one friend whom you grow up with, and you just enjoy your life. Those are the people, like, you enjoy your life with them. But these guys, when they enter their early 20s, as always, paths began to diverge. It always happens. Paths begin to diverge. Alex was this kind of a party kind of person. Party life, nighttime is always so loud. He loved being out with friends, playing video games. Imagine at the age of 20. I'm not cheating anyone. But yes, this is the life many of us live. He loved hanging out with friends, playing video games, going out to concerts. He often said, man, why do I stress about the future? Like, what's the big deal? I'll get there. Let me enjoy my life. Let me enjoy my youth. That's what he said. He forgot one thing, that you actually build your life in youth. Let's enjoy the moment. I mean, those are the statements we love making. At first, it seemed like Alex was living the dream, but as time went on, he started to feel a sense of emptiness. I don't know. He started to feel a sense of emptiness. I've had that feel myself one time. So every morning, Alex woke up. He woke up without a plan. He drifted from one day to the next, unsure of what he wanted to do with his life. His life began to move on, pursuing their own goal. Like his friends, they began to move on, pursuing their goals, while Alex felt increasingly isolated. This happens in life, you people. There is a moment where it hits you that all your friends are actually somewhere, and you happen to be like you've lost track. I know it's not for everyone, it's for a chosen few. You guys are chosen. You are few. You are chosen. But it does happen. And it's something really, really frightening sometimes. But you see your guys moving, and they're leaving you behind, and you say you feel isolated, and You try to motivate yourself, just as Alex did, with fleeting moments of excitement, like, okay, this is the last time I'm doing this, and after I'm going to push forward for what I want to do in my life. He often found himself scrolling through social media, watching others chase their dreams with the and wondering if there was more to life than just having fun. That stuff. Wondering whether there was more to life than just having fun. So, on the other hand, Sam took a different approach. He believed in setting goals and working hard to achieve them. These guys are rare, but they are many. So he started journaling to keep track of his thoughts and dreams. He started journaling, putting down his thoughts and dreams. Each morning he wrote down what he wanted to accomplish that day. He also made time for exercise, healthy meals, and meditation to clear his mind. He wanted to clear his mind. That's what meditation does. He took a different approach to life. Sam had a clear purpose. He wanted to become a graphics designer. Shout out to the graphics designers out there. There is Jeremiah Ocheng. There is Richard of the CBM Radio. If you just need anything to do with graphics designing, CBM Brothers is the right place for you. So Sam had chosen the path of doing graphics designing, just like my brother Richard has. He loved creating art and helping others express their ideas visually. So he took online courses, built a portfolio, and even started freelancing for local businesses. Freelancing is something very, very good. So the journey filled him with so much excitement and a sense of fulfillment. I mean, it really it pointed somewhere. He really felt like he was getting somewhere. So as Sam worked toward his goal, he faced challenges. There were days when he felt overwhelmed or tempted to give up. As always, he tempted to give up. But he remembered his purpose and pushed through. He knew that discipline was essential, very, very, very essential. So he stayed consistent with his routines, even when it was tough. So one day, Alex, just like I would visit my brother Yonasi, yes, I would visit Kevin, Vimbo, or I would visit Palnet. All those guys have moved a step in their lives, and I shout out to you guys. So one day, Alex visits Sam at his apartment. Then he saw how focused and happy Sam was. He couldn't help but feel some envy. Like, how do you do it, Sam? You seem so sure of yourself. I think this morning I just asked Jeremiah, what moves you? Like, really, how are you so sure of yourself? And Alex there was a hint of frustration in his voice because he's overwhelmed, as I was this morning. So Sam smiled and replied, bro, it's all about living and having a purpose. Living your life for a purpose. When you know what you want, it's easier to stay disciplined. So he said, I write down my goals, I exercise, I eat well, and meditate. It keeps you on track. It sounds exaggerated, but this thing is true, you people. It requires your mental stability to be standing well, having goals, and being at it. Just keep focused. Alex listened intently. He paused, and I was like, and he realized that he has been living a life without direction. He had been living a life without direction, and that has come to me before, but I'm glad I'm getting a direction as well. So I want to so Alex was like, and I want to feel that way too. He admitted, but I don't know where to start and how I should start. I even don't have a reason why I should start yet. Sam suggested they work together. They began journaling every day. Journaling, this where we saw that Sam wrote down what he was going to do that day and he ensured that he finished it. That's what CBM Brothers is also doing here at work. That when you come to work, there is you have to sign in at the workplace and you tell them, this is what I'm going to do. And the moment you finish it, you sign it out, you go back, you scan the QR code and make sure that you've done it. It's kind of pushing people to work. Really? Yeah. So some suggested they worked together. They began journaling every day, sharing their thoughts and feelings. Slowly, Alex started to discover what he truly wanted. He realized he loved photography and wanted to become a photographer. So, with some support, Alex began to exercise and eat healthier. They would go for runs together and cook nutritious meals. Some taught Alex how to meditate, helping him find calmness and focus. So, as time went on, Alex felt a change within himself. He started to feel more motivated and disciplined. He set small goals for his photography. It's never, don't go big. Set small. Set small goals for his photography and worked hard to improve his skills. So months later, it might have been years later, Alex and Sam attended a local art show. Alex's photographs were displayed on the walls, and he felt a surge of pride. Unlike me, I don't know how I would have felt, given it was my first time. But for Alex, it was different. He was proud of his work. He had found his purpose, and he was actively working towards it every day. So reflecting on his journey, Alex remembered how he had lost track before. He felt lost, So life without purpose had left him feeling empty. Now with a clear goal and the support of a friend, he felt fulfilled and excited about the future. So the two friends learned that having a purpose made all the difference. Sam's journey showed Alex the importance of self-discipline, consistency, understanding one's purpose, and all that put together. Prayer. Can never forget prayer. I'll never forget to add prayer. So together they proved that life is much richer when you have a goal to strive for. From that day, it will always end in a happy ever after. On that day, Alex and Sam continued to support each other, knowing that with purpose and discipline, they could achieve everything they dreamed. So, and that has been our short story, generally giving us a recap of how the month we have had has gone by. We've talked about, in the various shows we've talked about, we've had discipline versus motivation. We've talked about self-discipline. We've talked about purpose. So today, we want to make a recap of all those shows. And this time I want to invite Jerry. I'm inviting Jerry to come in. And we're going to have a simple insight first on these various topics as we understand them now, as opposed to back then. And then we shall just have a concluding remark and then wish you a happy new month at the end of the show. So Jerry, first we shall begin with motivation versus discipline. Or even before we get to that, but let's first begin with that. Motivation versus discipline.
Hello, our listeners. I'm really happy to be here. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while, but I've always been around. I have been doing the broadcasting and I've not been really engaged in the live productions, but I've been broadcasting the shows. Well, motivation versus discipline. Well, we'll start by knowing actually what is motivation. Personally, motivation refers to the internal. Motivation can either be internal or external. And to me, it is the internal external drive that prompts an individual to take action. Yeah. It prompts an individual to take action. And there are different kinds of motivation. There's the intrinsic motivation. This one is driven by the internal rewards, such as personal satisfaction and a sense of achievement. Personally, whenever you do something, let's say I'm working on motion graphics. Recently, I was working on a project with Nguvu Interiors.
The furniture guys.
Yeah, Nguvu Interiors. Oh my god. I sat down. I was I had to do a logo and also do the motion graphics for the logo. I sat down and I really it took me it usually like a week. Like I don't, but this time around I don't know what. I just wasn't. I kept on doing logos. I made like 6 logos and
They're all not satisfying.
I was like, no. So it was like on a Thursday. I started working on the project on Sunday, and on a Thursday I was thinking, and I'm like, okay, furniture, and then to do with the logs and furniture, trees, something of the sort. And then I was like putting pieces together. And then on Thursday evening was when I was like, you know what, let's go back to the drawing board. So I sketched it out, finally gave it the motions, and I was like, we are getting somewhere. So when I looked at it, and then I was like, interiors, I added some window. It was really nice. So that drive really, that is what we call the intrinsic motivation. That satisfaction after doing something, you get. So after doing the logo, it was a motion graphics, and it was good. I looked at actually doing the voiceovers, and I had my colleagues that had never done anything to do with voiceovers.
There were many.
I was like, you know what? You're coming here and you're going to do the voiceovering. So I talked of the intrinsic motivation. And then the extrinsic motivation. This is driven by the external rewards. External rewards such as money. Like for us who are working.
Come on, not everyone is working, I think.
I know there are some of our listeners that are probably not working. But anyway, for us who are working, every time you receive your company, you're like, hey, we go back. Yeah. Why would you be working if you're not earning?
Yeah.
So, external rewards such as money, praise, as little kids back then when they were when we were growing, we always looked out for the praise. You do something and your dad is like, wow, that is nice. Let me say a kid learning to write. Even if they draw some rubbish things, you'd be like, wow, that is
my name.
That is beautiful. And such praise motivates a child to keep on growing. Yeah. So there's that. And then a sense of recognition. Once you're recognized in a society, you're motivated to keep on doing what you're doing. Yeah. So that is motivation to me.
That's motivation to you.
Yeah.
Then there is this motivation that you wake up one day, you feel like you just want to do something. Like, forget, because there's this one, the one you talked about, the intrinsic, the one which is from the interior, is like that one that you yourself want to be satisfied in a certain way. You want to see something beautiful.
Yeah.
But then the exterior, you want to get the money. Now that's like survival. You have to survive. Then there is this motivation that many of us get, like whereas all this has come because this is like kind of lifestyle survival. Now there is this motivation that helps you while you want to stand out in what you're doing. The kind of motivation that's like, you know what? I think I want to be like, let's say Elon Musk. I want to be like, or I want to do something mega. Like, what term can you give that motivation? Because it's the kind of motivation I'm looking at now. Given that many times you wake up and you're like, you know what? I want to wake up and tomorrow I think I really want to be a very good software engineer. And that's me, personally, me. And so that person has that motivation there. And we're looking at that motivation versus the discipline. First, combine for me motivation and discipline.
Okay. So discipline Discipline to me is this is the ability to control oneself and make consistent choices that align with long-term goals, regardless of emotional state or external circumstances. Well, discipline is more about commitment, self-regulation. Discipline involves creating abilities and creating habits and routines that support your goals, even when motivation ain't there.
So you mean you can actually be disciplined without motivation?
Definitely.
But to me, it looked like being disciplined is like, yes, you're walking a journey, but you don't know where you're going. Yes, you can get somewhere, but you still don't know where you're going.
And actually, discipline often requires perseverance. You have to be focused. And it's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it.
And that's a very big, like, discipline is all about that. It's about perseverance and actually doing something that is actually, you don't really want to do it, but you have to do it. Mike Tyson once said that discipline is like you do something you hate, but you do it as if you love it.
Yeah.
Like, you, for example, you have to go study code instead of going to YouTube Shorts or TikTok, and you have to act like you love these codes you're studying from, let's say, data school. Is it data camp?
Yeah.
There is data camp, there is W3 schools. I speak like that because I'm a software engineer in the making.
Yeah,
a
man.
developer. So there is that kind of time where you have to do something that you hate, but you have to do it as you love it. Now, that is discipline. That's the way I understand discipline. Jerry is just smart. That's why the words are really big. But to break it down, to me, discipline is those steps you take daily to get you to where you want to be. And for me, I would like to differ from where you say that you can actually be disciplined. Okay, yes, you can be disciplined, but in a journey, like, disciplined in the sense that you are running after something.
And actually, what did you say?
Like the discipline whereby you are running after something.
Mm.
Like, for me, because now I'm looking at discipline is there is something you're running after. So discipline, they are the steps, the daily perseverances you have to go through, the 1, 2, 3, 4 things you have to do to get to a point in life. So that's why I'm like, motivation and discipline somehow work hand in hand.
Yeah, they work hand in hand. And one man once said that success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day.
Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day.
Success is nothing more than a few disciplines practiced every day. Like, for you to be successful, there are just a few things that you're meant to do every single day. And another said, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want the most.
What you want now and what you want the most.
Yeah.
Which is your priorities.
Yeah, exactly. And another, Sarah said, there's this famous lady, and she said that the pain of discipline is far less the pain of regret.
So true. So true. I can relate with that back in Form 3, Form 4. Whereby Form 1, like in the first terms, we used to play a lot. Back in my former school, Chitovu, they used to do this thing of continuous assessment. They add up 1, 2, the all terms. And then, so some of us used to relax in first term, relax in second term, and then we get to third term and we want to do everything that was required us to do from the first term to add up to get the 60% average that was required. And that moment, you could see people in regret, whereby that's a time in the year where we used to call it the last 10 days, my last, whereby that time is for sports and nothing else, sports, movies, everything you want to do. So this is a time where you could see guys completely stressed, completely worried, I happen to have tested that kind of stress. Just because there is somewhere I lacked, instead of keeping the discipline so that you do not regret later on, I kind of lost track. So I want us to dive deeper into, right now we've talked about motivation versus discipline, where you've described this.
And by the way, there are a few facts about motivation, and I wanted our listeners to actually know some of these things.
Yes, please do tell them.
The only way to do great work is to love what you do, just like you say.
Very true. Very true. You have to love what you're doing.
I truly believe that passion is the key to excellence. When you genuinely love what you do, it fuels like your motivation and drives you to put in more effort needed to achieve outstanding results. It's about finding joy in your work. It's about finding joy. Apart from the software things and the broadcast things, the graphics things, I happen to be an instrumentalist, and it's crazy when I'm on stage. Like, I love what I do.
Yeah, the extent you can go up to 12 in the midnight.
I know, right? And if I make playing my keys, I'm like, you know what? I love this and I do it to perfection. Like, I love it. And another fact about motivation, your limitation, it's only your imagination. You're limited by just your imagination. So
what
how
you think you can and cannot do?
Yeah, I often remind myself that many of the barriers we face are self-imposed.
I relate with that.
You remember when actually today we were out in the field and we went to
National Council of Sports?
some place that side in Kololo. And I was like, yo, we are going in. My brother Louis was like, no. There is no way we are going there. What if they are paying? I was like, sure, we are going in.
And we actually entered.
Yeah, we actually entered. So I believe that our beliefs can limit our potential. By expanding your imagination and thinking beyond your current limitations, we can unlock incredible possibilities. I remember we had a chat with Louis back then, before not so like the previous year.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, bro, lad.
After computer science, what next?
So I was like, what do you do? What do you do now? I was like, man, bro.
Yes, you did.
bro. But anyway, that is a talk for next time. And then another fact about motivation. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Like, I think it is essential to have faith in our dreams. Those who believe in their aspirations are more likely to pursue them actively. It's a call to dream big, like dream big and work diligently to turn those dreams into reality. Dream big.
And this is always motivation.
Yeah, do not limit yourself. Like, dream big. We often sit in our studios here, and whenever we turn on our ACs, like
guys, you don't know the sound.
and it gets too cold in here, and always say, we are going
to Toronto.
We are going to Toronto.
Yes, you could enjoy that child condition, but
we are going to Toronto. And another thing I really want our listeners to know is that motivation is what gets you started. Yeah. And habit is what keeps you going.
And habit is discipline in this case.
Yeah. It keeps you going. And this resonates deeply with me like
I'm a witness.
motivation can spark the action,
Yeah.
but it's the habit that we build that ensure that we stay on track.
True.
Consistency is key.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, and developing good habits is what leads to long-term success. So, our dear listeners, there's just a lot. And we're glad you're tuned onto this show. Like, wow, there's a lot we're going to discover. And just like the show says, my life, my purpose. As we discover our purpose, there's more that we're going to learn.
More. So we've been talking about discipline, and that takes me to the next show we had the next Thursday after the one of this discipline and motivation. Here we talked about self-discipline. I want to bring it in this sense. We've talked about discipline on a larger scale. What those things you have to do to achieve your goal. But then there is this now we are going on to discipline itself. Personal discipline. Because there's a discipline that when you lack it, you may not actually get to where you want. What do I mean? For example, things to do with our health. If we have no control on how we are eating, if we are only eating things that will lead us to obesity, in a certain way or another, we are going to fail to get to our goal in life. Because that's going to hinder us in the health perspective. And then when we look at other things, like for example, because despite the fact that you have a goal, a dream you want to get to, there are very many things you have to work upon in your life. For example, you're not going to do only one thing. If I want to do Python and Java and I want to be a great developer or a cybersecurity guy, my focus is not entirely going to be there, whereas a big portion of it is going to be there. I have to consider my spiritual life, which is very, very important to me. I have to consider my food. I have to consider washing my clothes, personal hygiene. I have to consider my cleaning my shoes. I have to consider very, very many things. So when I lack a certain kind of discipline in how I'm going to manage all these things happening in my life, then I'm going to in a way lose track. For example, I will wake up late at 8.
True.
And then I'm going to, work hard that day. But if I don't have a certain time of when I expect myself to be awake and do everything I'm supposed to do, and then continue with what I have to do, there is how I'm going to lag behind in life. So that's my perspective of self-discipline, as we had shared that day with my brother Sekizi Paul. So what do you have on self-discipline?
Well, like just like how we looked at discipline and all that. Huh? Me personally, when motivation gets me going, I believe that discipline will keep me growing. You get me? Motivation keeps me going, but the discipline keeps me growing.
Yeah.
I find it to be so true that motivation may initiate the action, but that thing that is going to sustain that is going to sustain the process and foster continuous growth, it is going to be discipline. So I believe that even with self-discipline, it is important that I am motivated and I am consistent in all that I do. Because the truth is, I can't rely on motivation.
Never.
But I can rely on discipline.
True.
And me personally, as Jerry, I often remind myself that motivation can be fleeting. You get me? Instead of depending solely on motivation, I think of cultivating discipline to ensure that I continue to work towards my goals. And even when I feel demotivated by anything, because in life, like you're going to find all kinds of obstacles and that may demotivate you. Like you're set for something, but then life, you will always find obstacles.
And actually on that before, like there's something you reminded me, and this goes back to prayer. Sorry, I love connecting these two things. Now there's something I learned about prayer, that there's when we go to God and we have a certain request we have from Him, and then we pray, Father, give us this thing, but we may find that what we're asking for is not in His will. So this is why I'm seeing that this where we say that motivation keeps me going, but discipline keeps me growing. This is the same thing with prayer. I think it had to just come in. Because when we pray, when we keep in constant touch with God, yes, when we are desiring something, we shall continuously come before Him. But when we keep in constant touch with Him, it helps us to keep growing in Him. We just keep on like becoming better people. Like we get to realize that actually something better is out there. For example, my brother Paul told me, as we're talking about this issue of self-discipline, is that he wanted to be disciplined so that he could gain some financial capabilities because he's a forex trader. So he wanted to he wanted to really get his money back. So as he wanted to do that, as he was working towards getting back his money, he got to learn the aspect of discipline, and then it infuriated into other aspects of his life. And right now he says, I'm glad I am a forex trader. He's not yet making the money, but he's glad that the discipline he acquired during this forex trade has actually helped him in the other aspects of his life.
Yeah, true. And I was once told a story, and I don't know, do we have the time? But probably let me.
We see.
There lived a guy called Musa, and despite his hard work, he really struggled to make ends meet. And his dreams of a better life seemed so out of reach. One day, while resting under a tree, Musa overheard a conversation between two village elders. You know, Musa has potential, but he lacks discipline. One elder said.
The thing.
And the other said, true, but he is willing, and he will definitely find a reason to push through the challenges. These words struck a chord in Musa's heart. He realized that he was working hard, but he needed to cultivate self-discipline to achieve his dreams. Well, he decided to set specific goals and all that. So he began to think, he began to imagine, he began to think big, and he wanted to increase. Musa was a farmer. Back there in the villages of
Masaka.
Chana Mukaka.
Mwanyi terimba.
Mwanyi terimba, like I told you. Yeah. And he wanted to increase his crop yield and also save money for his family and eventually start a small business. And just like this story, when they were telling me that, like, this story, it reminded me of a verse in Proverbs. Is it Proverbs 21, verse 5? That says that the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty.
Pardon?
Proverbs 21
21
verse 5.
Proverbs 21 verse 5. the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. I mean, what's the meaning of hasty? Hasty. Is it quick? Hasty. Hasty here means insufficient consideration or acting with excessive speed.
So read the verse again.
So acting hasty, and then back to Proverbs. The plans of the diligent lead to surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty.
So what does it mean to you?
It means to me someone like who comes like
Mhm.
like that, coming too fast onto something, unprepared for, unplanned about it. It's only going to lead you to poverty. Yeah, it's something like betting or something of the sort.
So with all the challenges and all the problems that Musa had, he actually realized that he needed to work hard, but also cultivate discipline to get him moving.
Yeah.
Like, I'll still refer to the Bible, just like the Bible says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things
Through
Christ who strengthens you. Like, I can do you can do all things. But
True.
through
Christ who strengthens you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the times of drought and the times of challenges and trouble, Musa sought guidance from the village elders. One thing that I find very outstanding in the youth of these days and the boys and the girls generally is they feel like they know it all.
True.
They
To an extent, I
feel
think so.
like they know it all, and yet there is a lot of wisdom that can be pulled out of these elders that surround us.
True.
Even as you live your life, one thing that actually, whenever I see people that are grown ups, and I'm like, what has really made you live this long, and how have you made it? This morning, I watched a video of some lady. She was about 115 years.
15 years.
Yeah, 115 years. And then her daughters asked, like, they were just playing around with her. And surprisingly, this lady she would still speak. She would
understand
very well.
What's it called? Dementia. I think
she was
okay.
She was okay. And then she was like, what has kept me all this long is when I got to know Christ.
Wow.
I stayed on that path of wanting to know him. Because she shared and she was like, she was speaking in Uganda and she was like, Twakubange, dongo, bichi.
Those times when AIDS is booming.
Twakubange, dongo. And she was like, the only thing, and if it wasn't for salvation, she said she wouldn't be living this life that she still has up to date. She says the gospel that came into her life saved her from destruction. It saved her from a lot of things that were out there. And this, because she was talking and she was talking to her girls and she was like, you know what? One of the things that is making you girls fail, and she was putting it out there that many of you, and she was looking direct to her grandchildren. She's like, many of you will not even get close to my age because of the things that you put first in your lives.
Yeah.
Like, you have deviated from the path that your elders and funny enough, we are still in your midst. God has still kept me,
us.
and
you to
it
learn
is
from us.
just a few of you that come and
Talk to me.
talk to me about this. And she was like, I have lived this long, but I might be the last of my kind within you. Many of you might not. If you're still doing the things that you do,
You might not see me.
you might not get to my point.
Which gets me to this other aspect, because I would like to go now. With that story you've shared, now it takes me to the next show, the last show which we had last Friday, last Thursday, whereby EB, I call him EB. I still have a problem with the pronunciation. Ibutu. Yeah, where we invited Ibutu and we discussed purpose. What purpose is. First, in that show, Ibutu shocked me, where he's like, I don't know my purpose. I'm like, what? You don't know your purpose? It's because of the way I understood purpose. But then when we shared further on, it actually came to a point of like, hey, purpose, there is this particular purpose, just as you said. That lady, what was her name? You got her name? I don't know. So that lady, when she said that if it wasn't for the life I'm living, it wasn't for the gospel of salvation that I got, I would have lived a shorter life. If it's in Dongo, those times, AIDS was at its peak. With it at its peak, it also the peak. There's no medicine, no ARVs, no nothing. So it would have been so bad. But this lady said if she hadn't got the gospel of Christ, meaning God in her life, then she was going to be off. Then it reminds me that, hey, in this, when we were talking with Jeremiah last Thursday, he said that the first purpose a human being has in life, we came to discover it together. The first purpose a human being has in life is actually to get to know God better, to draw closer to God, to love God, to be close to God. The moment we get to God, now that's ultimately the purpose for every human being on earth. Then when we get to God, God is going to give us that particular thing that he wants us to accomplish. And then that helped me understand why Ibi said he did not know his purpose yet, but he was seeing it, because he kept on track onto seeing that one thing that God is actually preparing for him. So just as Jerry has here, they're all Jerry's, just as Jerry has shared here that the lady said, if it wasn't for the gospel, and this is true for very many people, if it's not for the truth that comes in their lives, that connects them with their creator, usually their life turns out to be meaningless. So the creator gives us purpose. He gives us that one thing he wants us to do. You come to God, he tells you, now you go do this for me. You come to God, he can tell you, let's make an app that's going to help here and there. He still does that, not only preaching and all that, but he does a lot for us in our lives. So Jerry, what's your take on purpose? Since we've talked about discipline and we've talked about self-discipline and motivation, we've talked about self-discipline, now we're talking about purpose. And it's just an amazing topic because it's kind of broad, it's so interesting, it's so intriguing. We are to live a life in God. When we live the life in God, we actually find that one, let me call it Nietzsche. Is it Nietzsche? That one Nietzsche in our lives that will keep us going. So, Jerry.
Yeah, personally, purpose is often described as the reason for which something exists or is done. And it serves as a guiding principles it serves as a guiding principle in our lives. And my life, my purpose is a show that combines purpose as personally, purpose is the head, it is the theme that it is holding all these things such as direction, motivation, meaning, discipline. And when people get a clear sense of purpose, I believe we are more likely to succeed and achieve our goals with passion and resilience, and also face the challenges that might come across. And to me, having purpose can lead to greater fulfillment and satisfaction in life. When you live a life without purpose, you're just living. You're just living. Like you find yourself, wake up one morning and the
Start
other
breathing.
morning you're breathing. You just
Basically, if you have your phone,
You
you
ju-
scroll through the TikTok videos.
Mhm.
I think I've had that life as well.
So having purpose helps you align either like your action, your values, and personally, there's some things that have helped me move on in life, and they revolve around purpose. And to me, the purpose of life is not to be happy.
Okay, yeah. Tell me more.
It is to be useful,
Stay relevant. Yeah.
honorable, and to be compassionate. The purpose of life is to have it make a difference that you have lived and you have lived well. True fulfillment comes from contributing to the well-being of others and living a life of integrity. Your purpose in life is to find your purpose.
Acha. Okay.
Is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it.
To it. My purpose in life is to find my purpose and
Yes.
to give my heart and soul to it.
Yes. The journey of discovering your purpose and fully committing to it once found. And the most important days in your life are or is the day you were born and the day you find out why.
The day we were born and the day you found out. True.
And the day you find out why you were actually born.
Because you remind me of the story of Jesus. Jesus is born, we are all so happy. Then at one point, Mary and Joseph find him in the temple after 3 days. Why were you looking for me? Like, no, sorry, we are looking for you. Give me a nice heartbreak. I was like, you know, I have to be around my father's youth. He's like, what? Kid, Jesus found out that his purpose was to do the will of the Father. And he started right away and he found pleasure in it. It's like, it's just so amazing.
And another fact is success is not the key to happiness.
Okay, why?
But rather happiness is the key to success.
That's strange. Could you elaborate?
If you love what you are doing, you will be successful.
She talks about this lady, Mother Teresa.
Mm.
I don't think she really built a mansion out of serving all those leprosy kids in India. She was happy.
You know, right?
Yeah, I'm now getting you. And the fact that Jesus was crucified but was still happy. It's
So,
done. It's
Our
finished.
dear listeners, success is not the key to happiness. No. But it's the other way around.
Happiness.
Is the key
Be
to
happy in what
success.
you're doing.
Be happy. Love what you do, and you will be successful.
True.
The true meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away.
The purpose of life
Is to give it away.
is to give your life away.
The true meaning of life is to find your gift. But its purpose is to give it away.
To give your gift away.
Yes. there's just a lot that will get you thinking.
Yeah.
And this show is going to realign you. Like, there are things that we've been thinking are actually the real deal, and yet
Kumbe. Cars. Okay, I see my friends posting cars. I don't know. I don't think I love cars that much. My brother Liam does. But life ain't about that, I may say. So I also don't see, but it's really shocking when you come to think about what life really is and what your purpose is. It shocks. Because it's amazing. I mean, people are kicking balls around and they're getting millions of money. Is that their life? Is that why they're actually living? And football is sustaining millions of lives. I'm like, what? So that's their purpose, but turns out it is in some way or another. But it tends to cross more than that.
The other thing is, the purpose of our lives is what lies behind us is what lies before us. And these are the tiny matters compared to what lies within us.
Tiny matters compared to what lies within us.
What lies behind us and what lies before us are the tiny matters compared to what lies between us.
Oh, so the past and the future really don't matter, but what you have within you, the present.
No.
These are complex things that will get us going the whole day.
And I just thank God for this opportunity to share, because I believe that many are out there and striving to find their purpose. Many are out there thinking that, you know what? Once I get successful, I am going to be happy. To them, they actually think that, okay, that is it. I will arrive. Back then, some of the things that I really looked at and I was like, okay, when I get this, or when I do this, I have arrived. But then you find that the things that you think are on top of the list of like what you want to do, many people have done them.
Yeah.
Many people have done them. Like, there are things back then I used to really be like, oh God, I want to be able to play this. I want to travel. And you're like, but
And
then
you've
within
and you're still here.
and just know, like, you're doing all, but what you actually think is the real deal is something just so casual and usual to someone else.
I know. Someone is making the Entebbe airport a bus park. So I just want us to, it has been a short one because we wanted to, short, maybe long. I wanted to summarize this month for us. We've talked about discipline versus motivation. Motivation gets you started. Discipline gets you moving. We talked about self-discipline. We realize that you have a motivation, but then because of you want to get somewhere, you develop a certain set of habits. You get to realize that these habits actually cut across all borders of your life. So you're not only zeroing into your motivation, rather because of your motivation, you've been able to fix some other aspects of your life. Then we are having, finally, we've drawn into purpose. But what is purpose, basically? And we've discovered that the first purpose, actually, your life's purpose is to find your purpose. For me, I understand that. How are you going to find your purpose? You have to reconnect with the one who made you. To me, that's how you're going to find your purpose. And then when he gives you your purpose, which is going to be your gift, you're going to find out that that gift, you're going to give it away. And that's going to be through service. And once you begin serving and you find happiness in service, that's the true definition of success. At this point, I don't know what else I can add on. I just want to leave this thinking into your minds. And I just want to wish you a happy new month, which is March. And this is the time when new ICT guys are coming back to school, to campus. I can't wait for you guys to be back and we are going to enjoy this semester. I do promise. as I trust God. Have a nice time and stay blessed.